Alright, enough of that, let's just jump right into it. I want to apologize for having this video be a little bit later than usual. It's already a few days after this event happened. And the reason why is it came out on the 13th, it is now the 19th. And I've been busy with life and work and getting everything ready before the big holiday feast, as it were. And yeah, not really the great time to do something like this, I must say. But regardless of that, today in this video we're going to tell you how you can achieve the grand prize here, which is the Spirit of Christmas tree. And I have to say, I really do like the design they have there. You'll learn more about this event's history during the parts I will be uploading at some point. I do really love what they did with everything, and when you see my other parts, you may know why. I won't spoil anything more here. Originally, I wanted to have Part 0 and Part 1 be out before this one, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. So let's just quickly jump right into it and talk from what needs to be done from here. Okay, so we look at the promenade, which is a really nice looking street area. I really do like how they've just basically turned the promenade into this weird looking, like almost like it's just connected to the town. It's almost like it's no longer separated anymore. One weird note I want to point out is that if you were to you could technically take the roads off, but once they're off, that's it. You can't really add anything more to that. But anyways, I'm going to click on the house. And here are the things you need. You need 7 of the Shop to Drop Hypnotizers, 5 of the Big Refunds, 9 of the Laugh-O-Matic Traps, and 7 of the Heart Attack Backpacks. All these items can be found within this Make a Monster shop. And there's a few more items here that you can actually get. So in order to make sense of this, there are 5 main items that you can need in order to craft stuff. The first ones are the reefs, the creepy reefs, which is going to be ridiculously easy to grab. You have the Christmas cards, the Santa toy bags, the candy canes, and of course the gingerbread monster cookies. And these are items that are going to be quite interesting to grab. I'll be talking about what is needed and what isn't needed. So I'll talk about the 2 hardest ones to grab. It's going to be the Heart Attack Backpack and the Shop Till You Drop Hypnotizer. Both of them are needing to be 7 of these things. And the items don't really coincide with one another except for one. And that is going to be the coal. The word I'm not going to butcher. The coal. The magic coal. The magnet coal, I think. I'm tired, leave me alone. This was an item that was introduced last year during the Christmas update, and yes, during this time we finally got the actual Santa throne on here. Now, in order to get these 2 items, you'll need the following 2. Like, you need basically 3 of the magical coal, 2 of that in here, so that makes a total of 5. Which means that in order to get these 2 items, you'll need at least 35 coals altogether in order to have enough to build these 2 items here. The Heart Attack Backpack might be a little bit more challenging because it requires 5 of the Haunted Shopping gifts, which you will get at the Mayfield's Bazaar scene, which I'm going to show off in a bit. And of course you get the Wear Teddies right there, which is craftable down below. Now, the Hypnotizers, you can get 7 of 3, and the Laugh-O-Matic, so basically the vampire, or the Vampiric Dolls. The Vampiric Dolls is easy, especially with the Laugh-O-Matic Trap, and it's only easy if you have 2 certain characters needed, and these characters are really needed because they are essential in order to get the 2 scenes here. And I will be talking about that in a bit. One thing to note, if you have some of the premium characters I'm about to show off, I want to point some stuff out. First of all, The Goosebumps board game is only needed for the Laugh-O-Matic trap. If you have other characters that can drop the Laugh-O-Matic trap, you don't really need to worry about getting the Goosebumps board games, unless of course you want to sell it for the event currency, which is a new feature, which I really like, which I will briefly talk about here just in case. The Blasto Ape Chimes. This will only be needed for the big refund, so really you'll just need 2, 4, 6, you need 10 of these at least in order to have enough for the big refund. So you don't really need a whole lot for the Blasto Ape Chimes. So keep that in mind. There are some characters that can drop it, so you can probably grind on that and you can probably use it to get more of the currency. I think the hardest thing to probably grab will be the Weird Teddies, just because it will require the Hunting Shopping Gift, which is needed for the other two, for the one item here, as well as the Laugh-O-Matic trap, in case you don't have any items for that thing there. So, roughly speaking, you're looking at probably the Heart Attack Backpack being the hardest thing to get, unless of course you have, you know, characters can help you drop this 2 items easier. And the shop till you drop Hypnotizer is probably the second hardest, because of the fact that you need the coal there. The Laugh-O-Matic traps is ridiculously easy. If you have a character that can drop these, there's 2 of them that I can think of, then this is just no problem. You don't need to even craft this if you really don't want to. And the big refund, again, not going to be too challenging to do, because it doesn't require a whole lot of these items needed. So there's that. Something I want to also point out too, there is this Shop Till You Drop Dead questline, as well as, if you decide to go with Reggie, the Rise of the Krampus questline. You'll notice that it'll ask you to obtain certain items. Just a word of warning, near the end of the quests, there are 10 for the Shop Till You Drop questline, and the Rise of the Krampus there are 5. Once you get closer to the end of these, they will require you to craft the higher tier items, basically the Hypnotizers, the backpacks, the big refunds. So I usually say collect the items needed and avoid crafting them until you get to that quest line, so you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That is just my advice overall, but there you go there. So with that, let's go ahead and talk about some of these characters that are needed for this event, that are useful of sorts. I'm going to be random here, and usually I tend to do freemium than premium, but I'm just going to go with whoever I can grab a hold of. So Mrs. Dark. There's only one animation task with her that is very useful to get, and she is glitched somewhere, so that's nice. Thank God this is a feature. So let's see if we can't find her here. Alright. See if no, I've skipped her. Give me a sec. There she is. And she has one task, which is to go shopping around town for 2 hours. Gives you a Santa toy bag. And yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's very bizarre. Didn't happen before, but now it has. So yeah, we're gonna pretend that this is not a thing per se, but it is what it is. The other characters that are freemium, one of them is this up here, Mr. Mortman. He has a new animation task called Make a List. For 15 minutes we'll drop the candy canes for that. I will be talking about the items per se, so don't worry about that. I'll be collecting those in a bit. Let me see if I can't find the other characters. What's the next one I need? Okay, yeah. Here's another one that's freemium, and that is Sam. Now, something with Sam is that during the Squeezer update, his questline was broken because of the fact that the trees were they were gone. But now they're back, so there's that. Now, he has 2 questlines, the Dance Happy and then Stay at Home. Now, really, if you have, like I said, items that can drop the Goosebump toy, if you have the Laugh-O-Matic items dropped, you don't really need to craft the Goosebumps toy thing, and if you don't need that, you really don't need the cards. So personally for me, I'd rather him do the stay-at-home task to drop the creepy reefs, because I feel like you will use those a lot more than the cards. And besides, there's only one character that's useful that drops the cards, so it's not like you're going to be dying of cards anytime soon if you decide not to. I know there are other characters too, premium, that also drop the cards, but again, I don't think the Christmas cards are that really needed. The next freemium is Lucy, which kinda, I guess they fixed slightly from what I saw before, but still kinda weird. She drops the Christmas card I stated before for a do her research on Christmas task, where she will actually wear a Santa hat and read something with her teddy bear, which is cute. But, yeah. Again, I'm just trying to... Oh, no, it's not to scare me either. Give me a sec. Okay, so here's the next freemium character. Dustin. Dustin has a task for you, which is the hunt for decorations, and this will help drop Reeves. And the last kind of freemium character, I believe this is the last one, freemium-wise, that helps you drop items, is going to be that of Lucy. But in order for Lucy, or not Lucy, Courtney, but in order for Courtney King to be able to do this task, you'll need the tree for sale building, and it's a make a snowman, or make a snow angel animation. And this gives you the Santa toy bag, so there's these two characters that can do that. Right. Before we move on to the items here, let's go ahead and there are two past event characters that are useful now for this event. I've noticed as of late that there's a pattern now where if you get an event character for a certain event, they'll be useful for the next two events moving forward, and then after which they'll be useful if an event involves around a theme of theirs. So for example, say like what happened with Amazo and the Magic Assistant, because there was like a carnival, they were useful for dropping items. So the first one here is that of Jonathan Schiller. Not Dr. Frederick, please. There you go. Most of his quest lines can actually drop items. The real ghost train gives you candy canes, which is not worth it because of the price of the thing, unless you got this during the Halloween event. The Laugh maliciously for 15 minutes for Christmas cards, again, not really worth it. Hand out carnival flyers for creepy reefs, not really worth it. Regis Fortune. Now, if you have this character and you don't have the other characters to drop the Laugh-O-Matics, this is an easy way to get the Goosebump board game without having to craft the item needed for the thing, but it's there. However, for me, personally, I feel like playing with his horror figures for 6 hours for the vampiric doll is more useful, because that vampiric doll is needed for a lot of this stuff. And then there is another premium character that was introduced during the holidays that is now useful for this event, and that is Seder. Seder is available now permanently. He was introduced during last Christmas, near the New Year's, and his quest is scheming new sales, which helps with the gingerbread monsters. I believe out of all the characters, he is the one who will be able to drop this item, as well as the next character beside him, which is that of Grandma, who was introduced last event. And as you saw, she had an animation which is to listen for alien activities to drop the Blasto 8 chimes for 8 hours. She has write recipes to help you with gingerbread monsters, act musician for the Santa toy bags, and then write fake letters for creepy cards. I do like how they associate the items with what they are doing. For example, the card for writing a fake letter, that makes sense. For me personally, I'll just do the Blasto 8 chimes, because that will help me for the big refund item. Plus, the other thing too is that it will be useful for this new feature at the bottom, One of the biggest complaints was with the pawn shop is the fact that we could not be able to sell these items because it's always a gamble. Now they permanently added a new slot down below, which is for events. So every time I refresh, it will only have event-specific items down here. This will mean that I can get these items right here to be able to kind of get all the items good. So that was a very useful thing. That was not the only thing they added to this, by the way, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But the next thing, I believe that is it for all the characters besides the premium ones, which I'm about to talk about in just a moment. But for now, let's talk about buildings that are useful. This time around, the buildings are back to the only event-specific ones versus how the last 3 have been, or last 4 have been, which is just combining different items to make it feel less useless. The first of these are the Woods Workshop. For every 4 hours will drop, not only will drop the creepy reefs, but now they drop in currency. This was something I figured I wanted to see happen, and they actually starting to do that, so that's kind of cool to see. This was actually a premium item from last year that helps you drop the wooden pets, I believe they were called. I'm not too sure. It's like the wooden puppy. Yeah, I think it was a wooden puppy because that was a premium kind of get an item there. But now it's a freemium kind of get build from the shop for a certain amount of coins. And the thing with these is that you can actually buy multiple of them. But the problem is they act like the scare scene. So once you buy one, it just goes up in price. So technically, if you have cash to spill, you can just grind for all these reeves and be all good to go. I'm going to go over here. The other item, like I talked about before, was the previously said tree for sale. Right here, it drops the reeves that is needed. The next item is, at some point, you will need to get the Micah Monster kiosk. For every 3 hours, or 2.5 hours, we'll give you 10 of these, plus the 1 gingerbread monsters. The tree for sale every 4 hours will drop, so basically like the other thing there. Then you have some of these items coming up here. Now, Reggie's Manor will drop you... Oh, nice. Thanks, Daily Bonus. Will drop you the event currency, and I'm just going to go back to Claus's abode for a minute, because I believe he also drops currency. But I might be wrong on that, so let me just see this real quick here. When the game loads in. Here we go. Yeah, so he also drops event currency, so that's good. So all the event-specific characters will drop event currency, so that's great. Actually, I'm curious, does Satyr drop any event currency? I don't think he does. I know he was introduced during the Christmas update, but I didn't think he would technically be considered as a Christmas character, but it is what it is. So give me a sec, I'm just going to try seeing this. I should have seen this before, but I wasn't thinking clearly. No, okay. Yeah, so let's talk about the 2 main important characters that we're going to need. The first one, let's talk about an old character that was useful last time, and that is Claus. This is new animation I'll be talking about, which is the Jingle Bell Rock, which is he currently doing right here. I will still need to get that for that quest line, but that will be for a different time. The Jingle Bell Rock not only is a new animation, but is very useful for an item. He has find new hobbies, drops candy canes. Dressed like Santa will give you the vampiric dolls. The Jingle Bell Rock, like I said, will give you wear teddies. Drinking some coffee for gingerbread monster. Read at mother's house. Fix the base for 12 hours gives you laugh-o-matic traps. Ride a motorcycle, Santa toy bag. Read while walking, and then play the bass. Now, if you want to get this character to do anything, honestly, in my humble opinion, the Jingle Bell Rock is probably your best bet for usefulness for this guy, because he drops the wear teddy for the less time, and every time there's always a cooldown period for every 3 hours for something that's needed for over here. Now, I've mentioned before that the hardest part about this event is going to be this right here, and that is true. Before I do that, I forgot. you got this item here, which is the inflatable Blastoape. It'll either drop you candy canes or the Santa toy bags, and also drop you some event currency. And the last thing, too, I don't have this item down yet, but I might as well share with you this. And that is the abandoned gingerbread house. It'll either drop you, for every 4 hours, it'll drop you either the gingerbread monsters or the candy canes. So there's that item there. At some point, you will need it to drop this item anyway, so there's that. Anyways, with that being said, I think that's all done. Now let's talk about the Santa's Throne. Yes, the glitch is still there on my phone. I don't know why that's the case. It's only on my phone. I looked at the different versions of it. It seems to be fine. It might be something to do with my device specifically, or it could be the file. I'm not 100% sure why it does this, but it does. Unfortunately, there's some good things. So number one, first of all, we get an event item from last year, so that's great. The other thing is it's only worth for cash, so really you're looking at about 1,900 coins to use. And if you have Santa, so with all these, with 1,900 coins gives you about 35%, which is crappy. And then you get the Santa Claus, which gives you up to 30%, which gives you 65%, which is still crappy. And this is the problem. Although it's nice to see that they're using the freemium currency, which is the coins, the crappy part is that this is a copy and paste of the same thing used for the Christmas update of last year, because you need to use $10 in order to get 20% to get a percentage of 85. So realistically, that means every 3 hours you're wasting a day's worth of ads. Of 10 ads to get this item, which I ain't gonna do, which means I have to deal with 65%. So this is why I said I think these two characters are very important, because not only will they help you greatly to get these characters and items, but the crappy part about this is the fact that these characters, especially this one in particular, the item drops are just bad. And you need at least 35 of them together in order to get the items needed for the event currency. Which is, again, crappy. So, we'll let Claus have fun with his spider presents and him just throwing Christmas bag on the peasants that has did him wrong. But now we're going to be talking about the new character, Reggie, in his monster form, which I have to say, I'm going to mention this during the playthrough, unless I have already, but this guy is a big boy. Compared that to Satyr, he's huge. Look at this guy. My god. Anyways, yeah, so he helps us with the vampiric doll. Now, the difference is with... Okay, so there's one thing that's crappy about this character, but I'll mention that in a bit. So the difference is with these is that when you spawn the mannequins, or the mall mannequins, you'll need to buy at least 180 of these coins, or these things, in order to get 30%. But if you have Reggie, it's 100%. It's like every time he does a thing, unlocks it already. But the problem is, for some reason, I don't know why this is the case, but now, despite the fact that this guy's a premium character and we've been used to having it being free for premium characters, now he also has to be costing of 50 of the currency in order to get this here, which I don't understand why. This means that in order to get 100%, you need to sacrifice 200, and if my math is correctly, 9, 20, 21, 22, 230 of the event currency, which would be a drawback if it wasn't for the feature in the pawn shop that is new now, this thing down here. So I will ignore it for now. Also, by the way, I really do like these animations here. Again, I'll talk more about these characters in a bit in the future. But I think Claus is done, so let's see if I'm lucky. 65% of the wheel. No whammies, please. No whammies. Here we go. No, I don't want the wood shop. Oh! 34 more to go. Oh, it's going to be a long one. For sure. Anyways. So, honestly, for me, Jingle Bell Rock is probably the best bet for him to do because it will help you with getting the Were Teddies, which is needed. And we're going to have... How long? They're still going to be doing this for a little while, so we're going to hold off for a bit. Yeah, so see, this is Seder, right? So he's pretty big, right, for a size like him. But look at Reggie, okay? Reggie's coming down. Is he going to come down? No, he's over there. Like, look at this. It's probably hard to see, but you can see the size difference, right? This guy's big. Let's see if he's going to come down. Oh, he is. Okay. Okay, here we go. No. Whatever. Okay. I might have showed this before, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. So again, this event whole thing is going to be interesting for me to talk about. You'll probably, if you've seen part 1 and part 0, you'll know why. But yeah, that's how you do these events. So let's go ahead with Reggie. And his quests are make it rain, operate the breeze present, hide home for a while, and take a business call. Now, the crappy thing about this is that hide at home for a while does drop you the Rare Teddies, but it's for 14 hours. That's more than... That's almost a full day of just getting one item. And he's needed for the shopping gift bags. So, realistically, there are 2 items you can use them on. Actually, I should mention this too. The Santa Claus also is useful for getting the Laugh-O-Matic. I should have done this before because this is late for me. I should have done this, but again, I guess it's needed for a quest. But you need to have the... If you're doing, like, if you're going to bed or you're not going to be in the game for a while, you should have Reggie and Claus or Chris go on the Laugh-O-Matic trap the quests, because they will help you drop at least 2 of these things that are needed for the items required. One of the items, which is, I believe it's going to be the hypnotizer. I'm going to assume it's a hypnotizer. I might be wrong on that. But then the other one is going to be that of the the other stuff. So during the 4 hours, I would say to have him do the Open the Beast present, which is a cool animation, and it helps drop the vampiric doll. So that gives you, like, having Reggie do this, having Claus do that, and having Grandma do the other thing basically guarantees you with getting all the items needed for the big refund. So the big refund is not going to be too much hard to get. Neither will be the Laugh-O-Matic if you decide to invest in these characters. I will say this. I know a lot of people will depend on whether or not they want to buy these new characters or not. I will say this. As of late, if you do buy into these characters, they will be investments for future content. If you've seen my previous walkthroughs before, you will notice that these characters are useful in every event. So these event-specific introducing characters are going to be useful for future events moving forward. Even if they have nothing to do with the event, they seem to be useful. So keep this in mind. So for now, because this is late, I'll have him make it rain. And this is part of a quest line, by the way. So this will help us with the Laugh-O-Matic traps. And then I just need the Were Teddies, which is what Claus is doing right now. And yeah, these are just going to be quests I have to do. I'm going to have to do the Ectoplasm, unfortunately, of course. But yeah, that's about it. That's how you can get these items in particular. Now, before I end this off, I am going to mention this. If for any reason you can't get this available, and take this with a big grain of salt until I can get a confirmation by this, but I believe there might be a system in place in order to get this item if after the event is over, if you didn't manage to get it. There might be 2 options. I'm hearing 2 rumors. either there is going to be a feature like Snoopy's Town Tale in which you'll be able to buy during the last chance. If you didn't get it, you can buy it through a premium currency, which might be up to, they seem to like going to the 300 of, in this case, the Goosebucks to probably get it, so there's that option. But the other option is, I believe there might be a actual bundle for getting the Mayfield Bazaar. I know we haven't gotten that for the other two events, but I feel like they're going to probably introduce that into this game. And I have a feeling about that because as of late, it seems like we're getting these event-specific items here. And I noticed that there is the special book here, so maybe they're getting ready to kind of introduce this into the system. And that would be kind of cool to see if that's the case. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. So as of this recording, there's about 18 days and 17 hours left, which will mean that this will put us to, if my math is correct on this will end on Monday, January 6th in 2020, the new year, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is a 4-week event. So this is a very lengthy event. The other thing too is some of you will have time to kind of have to play through this because of the fact that the in my case, I've noticed when it comes to this event, because now I'm off from work, I have more time to be able to grind through this, so I might be able to get this item more better. And I'll talk more about the quest lines per se, but I feel like they've kind of designed them in a unique way. But I haven't heard any complaints as of yet from the community, so it might be interesting to see how this will work. But yeah, that is pretty much it from me. Best of luck to everybody to be able to get this item. It is a really cool looking item, and I'm glad that they design a grand prize that is people wanting to tempt to get. That and some of the other items they introduce here is something that I'm glad to see people are enjoying for the most part. As well as the story. But yeah, if you see my other parts, you probably know why. But then again, I might be biased. Oh, what? Bias? Why? Ooh. Yeah, so that's it from me. So anyways, that will be it from this video. I will hope to see you very soon for more future content updates, especially near the end of the year, a special look back and a collection review of what I have in my town, and especially a special thing I have never seen anyone do yet before, but it's going to be an achievement for me. So that will be interesting to see for the walls for that feature. But anyways, that will be it for me. That's been long enough. I will see you guys very soon. So have a good night, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. And in case, I'll see you in the new year. Bye-bye.